Hi. Okay, so the component that I think has really helped me throughout this course so far is the deliberative dialogues. It helped me understand and participate in discussions that are going on in our democracy and in the real world right now. And it also allows me to help make the best decisions and be more knowledgeable when participating in our democracy and participating in politics. Um, so I'm just going to touch on a few things that we've talked about in these discussions and why I think they're important. So the first one we did was on national health care. And I think this is alone just a very controversial topic because obviously the health of everyone in our country is super important. But I don't believe it should be free just because it'll raise prices for everything else, which is just like minimum wage, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I do think it should be affordable for anyone in the low class to the upper class. It should be available and affordable for everyone. Whether you're making this much a year or you're making this much a year. So I took a quote, not a quote, but a response from a discussion, from a comment in this discussion board. This was from Sage Goldsberry, and she does not believe healthcare should be free either because it could increase other prices in the world. But she also said that health insurance should cover more than what it does. So for example, if you have a cheaper healthcare plan, it should include the basic things that you need, not just not stupid things, but sometimes cheap healthcare doesn't cover all the things that you need. So an example of healthcare being free, which I believe, I'm not too familiar, but I believe in Canada healthcare is free. But also everything else in Canada is more expensive than it is here because you're not paying for healthcare. It's kind of set into the prices that you're paying. So for example, this is not accurate at all, but if you buy let's see here, if you buy a case of Coke in the United States, it's probably $4 or $5. If you buy it in Canada, it's probably $10. Because healthcare is free, so therefore it gets enforced in other prices. So other things we've talked about in these discussions are gun control, which I definitely believe in having a gun for personal protection. I also believe it is really good for women in particular who are living alone. We've heard a lot of different things. Definitely more often and more recent about women just being not just being preyed on, I guess. So I definitely believe in it as being a protective thing, but I do believe that there should be more security, I guess, before you can be eligible to buy a gun. For example, mental illnesses, medications, pasts, any records with even driving, being in the police system, because we see a lot of things nowadays where there are many school shootings with younger men who have access to these guns just because they can. So I think there should definitely be more of a strict process when trying to buy a gun, not just a firearms license. You should have you should be fully analyzed in every single way before you're eligible to get one. Also, another topic we talked about is the legalization of marijuana. I'm very iffy on this topic. I definitely believe marijuana has its pros when it comes to medical things and anxiety and all other things. And I also believe, since marijuana is legal in different states across our country, that it isn't fair to those who are in prison or imprisonated for possession of marijuana, just because we have our our prisons are so overpopulated in our country, and for this drug to be legal in one state and then not to be legal in the other state and people are still in jail for it, I just really don't think it makes sense. I believe if it's going to be legalized, it should be legalized like across our whole nation, not just in specific states, but that goes along with like different states' rights and things like that. But I definitely believe it has its pros to in medicine ways, I guess, but I also believe it can have its cons. A lot of people get addicted to it, are in my age, and even like honestly, like adults use it, but a lot of people my age do use it. I just think it could have a lot of negative effects as well. So it is a very controversial topic as well. But for medical reasons, I definitely agree that it should be legalized. The last thing I'm going to talk about is minimum wage, which has just gone up. I actually work as a server at a restaurant, and our prices just went up because our minimum wage went up. So I definitely agree with people getting paid more in specific jobs. But when it comes to the point that it is now, it really counteracts each other, because if you're making more money and things are being, like prices are being raised, it's kind of like the same thing. So they really do counteract each other, but I do believe that more labor-intensive jobs should be receiving better pay, and also I believe that minimum wage should be set to a point that is livable off of, because in some areas, like even in Fort Myers, and then I'm from an area like 20 minutes outside Orlando, everything is super expensive in their expensive areas, and minimum wage pay working 40 plus hours a week is not going to support rent and all the bills you have to pay plus other things. So that's all I'm going to talk about today is the discussions we've done. And like I said in the beginning, I really think these discussions and hearing other people's opinions really help me when I get to the point where I'm going to be participating in these adult conversations just in my day-to-day life. My sister's in law school, so we do have debates a lot about like certain kind of things. So it's definitely helping me having more adult conversations and being more knowledgeable about these things that are so often talked about in our communities. So this is the most that has really impacted me in this class, is definitely the discussions and being able to communicate to my classmates about what I think is true or right, and then also listening to what they have to say. And yeah, so that is it.